Let's start with the first question. The first question says, reaction between aqueous iron 3 ions Fe3 SCN is reversible. Reversible reaction. The equation for the reaction, this is the equation which is shown. This is a reversible reaction. Equilibrium concentration are identical, mixture appears orange. Okay, so at equilibrium the mixture is appears orange when a few drops of aqueous thiocyanate ions are added to the mixture. A new equilibrium forms. So what you do is you add aqueous thiocyanate ions. Thiocyanate ions, as it is mentioned here, these are the ions that you will be adding to the mixture. How does the color of the mixture change? See, the guiding principle behind whole of this chapter is Lee Chatelier's the Lee Chatelier principle. Now you would have read this in the chapter. Basically, how I understand is basically this principle is a teenager's mood or a teenager's action. This is how I remember this. So how will a teenager behave like? So a teenager has a very typical way of acting. So if the parent says that you have to study, the teenager will not like to study. But if the parent says, okay, go out to play, or don't study, the teenager will act in the opposite direction. So a teenager will always react opposite to what his or her parent is saying. So that in short is a Lee Chatelier's principle. If you look at the definition, this is how the definition looks like, which would be mentioned in your book. So Lee Chatelier's principle, based on practical observation of many reversible reaction, and states that when a change is made to the condition of a system in dynamic equilibrium, the system moves so as to oppose that change. So basically, that is why I'm saying it's a parent-teenager behavior dynamics. That whatever the parent will try to say, the teenager will always try to oppose. Now, this is the principle which is the guiding principle, which is the core principle of whole of this chapter. So you need to get this first. Understand this well. For example, in this case, when you are adding aqueous thiocyanate ions, so what the reaction will try to do is you are increasing the concentration. But like a teenager, the teenager will try to oppose this. You are increasing the concentration, but the teenager will try to decrease it. And how can the reaction decrease the concentration? It can decrease the concentration only if it moves in the forward direction, because in the forward direction, these ions would be consumed. I hope this is making sense. So when these are consumed, the concentration of these ions will increase, and that is why the mixture will get more red in color. So, before you go ahead with this lecture, our guiding principle, you should be very clear of Lee Chatelier's principle. Try to go through your textbook and try to understand this. In short, this is a equilibrium between teenager, his or her parent. Whatever the parent will do, the teenager will try to oppose. That is how I have understood this principle. Okay, so let's look at the next question. Methanol is manufactured by reaction of hydrogen and carbon monoxide. Equilibrium mixture is produced.